Does it turn out that making money, earning money in your practice, in your private practice as a doctor, dentist, whatever, that this is simply a little bit more time consuming than you thought at the beginning, and that perhaps even the money you're making, earning, taking home is falling a little bit short? What about retirement? Are you set for it in your practice? Hi, my name is Flasch, and I've been a practice management consultant for approximately 30 years, for actually pretty much exactly 30 years. And I have never heard so many cries for help from doctors to say, I don't see the light at the tunnel. I'm working harder, I'm making less money. All kinds of things are basically playing against the practice, so those doctors tell me. Okay, let's talk about a few of those things. Number one, maybe not number one, I'm just listening them. Insurance companies keep paying less and less and less for a particular service. Okay, there are dentists out there who get $25, $30 for pulling a tooth. Never mind that those insurance companies are also more or less dictating what work you can do, simply by paying or not paying, actually. And patients are saying, well, if the insurance doesn't pay, I guess I don't need it. Well, then let's, since we are with the patient now, there comes the fact that the middle class, since 1980, more or less, is basically stagnant, makes less spendable income than back then now, or at least not more. Okay, but most likely less, because certain things like houses and health insurance, education for their kids, blah, 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 it all went drastically up out of proportion. So they're basically making less money. Then there's the fact that employees actually do cost more money, that the new generation of employees works a little different. Not worse, not better necessarily, but nevertheless different, the loyalty. And I'm not saying loyalty is good, I'm just saying there is a change in how you train people, and then weeks, months, years later, they kind of like leave and you have to train again. It costs more. Malpractice insurance, it costs more. Things like that, okay? So if you look at all those type of things, including what a practice is worth when you sell it. When I started in about 1989, 1990, whatever, to become a business practice management consultant, marketing consultant, practices, if they did well and made some money, they were sellable actually. Not so much today anymore. Not saying none, there are always exceptions. So, what is the solution? It has also, for us as consultants, become more difficult to help you guys. We, for 30 years, said, look, those things can be overcome, mainly with good marketing, mainly with correct ways of hiring, with hiring more people if you than you really need. Doesn't mean they work more hours, it just means you spread them out more. Anyway, the point is, there was, and there are, solutions to this. I, as a marketing consultant, however, have to admit, it is becoming more difficult. It is more and more and more an uphill. And if one looks at the, two basic principles which I believe most business people who have a hard time are violating, is this. Number one, okay, they are not having several sources of income which are completely not connected one to another. Not at all. Okay, otherwise they're gain connected. Okay, so that's a very big business principle, especially when it comes to specialists who are trading time for money, like a doctor. He can only trade time for money, and as long as you trade time for money, there is no way of ever really becoming financially free, financially successful. It's just not possible, because there's only so much time available. So if you're paid high, like because you're a surgeon, compared to, let's say, a plumber, yes, you make more money per hour, but you are limited nevertheless. So they're not having several sources of income, out of which almost all of them, or all of them actually, but almost all of them should be not trading time for money. So that's one of the major principles, because regardless of whether the mistake is made by you, whether the government make some regulations which makes one business not working anymore, or you made the mistake, or the economy simply doesn't demand a certain service anymore, blah, 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 whatever it may be. Okay, you need to have several income sources, each one of them not as an extra income source a little bit, but more like as a complete. If everything else fails and only one of those four, three, four, five survives, you're still making good money. That's how those extra income sources need to be treated. Number two, in terms of why businesses don't do good, is because too many business people, too many experts in something, in whatever they are, neglecting to be experts in marketing. Okay, now that's good for me because I'm a marketing person, a business consultant, so I help with that. I have helped companies with 11,000 people, saving 3,000 people, only because I implemented good marketing for those companies. You might think those big ones always know it. They don't always know it, but more than the small one on an average. So the point is, everybody needs his product sold, and no matter what product you have, no matter what expert you have, it doesn't do you any good if people don't know you. So those two things are usually missing in most people. There are other things in most companies. So, ladies and gentlemen, okay, if for any reason what I just said a little bit indicates that yeah, this is kind of like running against the wind, when will it end? Will it ever end? Ask yourself the question. Depends on where you are in your practice right now. Do you still need and want to grow your practice? Which is fine, which is perfect. But even if you do that, shouldn't I create also a second income which doesn't demand my time at all and yet makes an income as much or greater than a practice? Is far more easy to duplicate. You know, and or is growing my practice and trying to move it up to a certain level in the last few years, and in order to then maybe sell it, which is that too little or too late? Either way, give us a call, because especially in this new age, in this internet age, in this age of like where laptop millionaires and all kinds of things are created, you can make a significant change in your life with a second business or a couple of second businesses which do not demand your time. Okay, it is out there, it does exist, and if you think it's too good to be true, well, you have two choices: stop thinking that bullshit, and or keep suffering if you do suffer. I'm not saying every business person suffers, but funny enough, even the business person, the doctors who don't suffer, who basically do okay, they do, as they get a little bit older, want to do other things, and usually don't quite have the time or money to do those other things because they are locked for location in one area and need to be there trading time for money. Give us a call. You will love what we have to say. It might not necessarily be for you. I understand. I got that. Okay? But you nevertheless will be able to take it into your repertoire of knowledge and maybe do something with it down the road, because it will open your eyes. It will make you aware for what is out there, and all of a sudden you will perhaps see, even if it's weeks, months, and years later, then you talk to us, I could and should do something. Go ahead, give us a call. Thank you.